Hi there. So I want to take a moment and describe the first step of the CAPE cycle, something we call champion. Now, the reason why it's the first step is because we're trying to address a major problem, and that strategic planning, as a critically important but not urgent activity, can slip through the cracks. It happens all the time. Well-intentioned people want to create a strategic plan. They may, in fact, create a plan, but then the execution of it slips through the cracks. And the reality is that we've never, ever seen strategic planning work well at a nonprofit unless at least one person, and ideally two, people were committed to what we call championing, really fighting for the success of strategic planning at an organization. So, unless you take this as your first step, where you really identify, again, ideally two people at the organization that will champion, will make sure strategic planning really succeeds at the organization, then strategic planning is not as likely to succeed. So that's the first step in the overall process, is making sure you have one or two people who have been identified. Now, who and how many of those people? Well, typically it's the executive director is one of the persons that are going to play that role, and you want to make sure that that role is built into their job description and their evaluation. But often we found that the most successful leadership of the strategic planning process, the championing, is when the executive director co-champions with another person. And that person could be the board chair, could be an administrative assistant, someone that works with the executive director, and the two of them champion a successful strategic planning process, the overall CAPE cycle for the organization. And so what are some of their responsibilities? Well, they make sure that you have an effective plan, make sure that there's ongoing support and accountability for the execution of the plan, make sure that there's a calendar that's documented for how we as a team are going to use the strategic plan and follow through on that. Make sure that strategic planning is a positive experience for everybody in the organization. Make sure that we all have access to some relevant documents around the strategic planning process, and to reinforce the overall CAPE cycle. So bottom line is that champion or champions are making sure strategic planning is alive and well at the organization for years to come. And the reason, again, why we have this as the first step of the CAPE cycle is you want to identify those people up front so that they know that this overall process is something they're going to be reinforcing and supporting for the full team and organization.